Hello, I'm Ramón Arancibia with the University of Missouri Extension. Today we're going to talk about the second part of this study that we conducted with farmers in Missouri. In general, we're going to show how does the date of planting sweet potato in the field influences yield. And as the title indicates, the earlier you plant sweet potato, the larger the yield. So in the first part of the study, we showed that the early slips were coming out of low tunnels inside high tunnels. About a week later, the slips were ready in the high tunnels without low tunnels. And then another week later, where the slips were ready outside under low tunnels. And finally, a week after, the slips from a bed without cover, without protection, were ready to plant in the field. So there was a span of 3 weeks between the first planting and the last planting in this study. So the first planting occurred the last week of May. The second planting occurred a week later, and depending on the location, the third planting occurred 2 to 3 weeks after the first planting. And therefore the fourth planting occurred 3 to 4 weeks after the first planting. All fields were harvested at the end of September or beginning of October. So here we have the difference in growth between the first planting on the far left, the second, the third, and the last planting on the far right. The difference in growth that you can see here means that the storage roots started to develop much earlier in the first planting in comparison to the other plantings, especially the last one. Therefore, the storage root had more time during the season to grow, and that's why it influences the yield at the end of the season. So here we can visualize the differences in yield according to the planting date. This is the yield or the harvest of a 15-foot long row, and they're separated according to size. In the top left picture, you can see the first planting, which has 3 large storage roots. Then it comes the medium size, which is the most valuable, then small ones, and the left that are non-marketable. In the top left picture is the second planting, and you can see that it's mostly of medium-sized storage roots, then small ones, and the cold or non-marketable. In this particular site, the third planting was 3 weeks after the first one, and you can see the difference. The amount of medium-sized storage roots is much smaller than the other two planting dates. And the last picture on the bottom right is the one that was planted 4 weeks after the first planting. And you can see that the amount of potatoes is much less than the other ones. And here we have the yield, pounds per 100 feet row length. And you can see the difference among the 4 planting dates, first, second, and third and fourth planting dates. You can see marketable yield, which include the large, the medium, and the small potatoes, is much larger in the first planting than the other one, and almost a double from the fourth planting. Then you can see the US number 1, which are the medium-sized potato, and also you see that the first planting had the highest yield. And only the large ones is a big difference between the first planting and all the other ones. So in summary, results from the 3 locations in this study in Missouri indicate that sweet potato field planting date influences yield. Early planting, like the last week of May, allow plants to develop storage roots earlier or for longer time, and that's why the yield increases the earlier you plant. I hope this information will be useful in your operation if you grow sweet potatoes. Thank you.